Over a decade ago, Slayer was about to release their album Christ Illusion in 2006. The title itself, as you would expect, would anger a lot of religious groups, but this story isn't about something the band did themselves, but rather something their fans did. Let's explore the full story in today's video. Slayer was readying their 10th studio album in 2006 called Christ Illusion. The album marked the first time the classic lineup of Slayer was back in the studio together since their 1990 release Seasons in the Abyss. The album's title wasn't the only part of the record that was problematic, as the graphic imagery and artwork depicting an unsettling picture of Christ had to be changed since some retailers wouldn't carry it. That wasn't the only problem though. Some of the lyrical content on the album also resulted in some retailers not carrying it at all, especially in places like India. The album's original title was 666, and the band wanted to release it on June 6th of 2006, meaning it would have been released on the date 666. But of course the band's label objected, and the release date was pushed several months later to August of 2006. To celebrate Slayer's music, a website called nationaldayofslayer.org was set up. The website heavily promoted what it called the National Day of Slayer, which was June 6th of the year, and asked fans to only listen to the band's music on that day, while also playing it at an, I quote, full blast. The site would also suggest to fans who wanted to take it one step further, saying, and I quote, take participation to a problematic level, spray paint Slayer logos on churches, synagogues, or cemeteries, it would write. Well, you can probably guess what happened next. The next day, at 7 a.m. in the morning, when workers showed up to the St. Joseph Seminary in Yonkers, New York, they were horrified to see the work of vandals who spray painted upside-down crosses in black on the two columns at the front of the main entrance. They would also see sixes on each of the steps leading up to the landing, where the words Rain in Blood, named after the group's most popular album, were painted in thick black lines. Meanwhile, on the front doors, a large pentagram was painted by vandals, the very same spot where Pope John Paul II stood in 1995 during his visit to the seminary. The seminary would release a statement that read, I think anyone who promotes the Prince of Darkness is very misled, very ignorant, very wrong. I feel sad, and disappointed, the statement would read. Meanwhile, the owner of the website was a man who lived in Montana, was 31 at the time, and went by the name JT, while also working in IT. He would tell an interviewer, we don't have a voice to say that maybe we want America to be an agnostic state. What other option do we have to express our distaste? It was not an outright recommendation, but an acknowledgement of what kids do. While JT would take credit for inspiring the actions at the seminary, he himself had no idea who was behind the vandalism. He would also state the goal of the National Day of Slayer was to make people aware that the heavy metal community was an organized culture by itself that wasn't restricted by borders. His website would even be translated into several other languages, including Icelandic, Polish, and Serbian. JT would claim that following the vandalism, he had never been contacted by law enforcement, and news outlets would even reach out to the band themselves, with their publicists claiming they had no knowledge or connection to the acts, and they were not affiliated with the website. It was reported at the time that Slayer was supposed to play a show on June 6th of 2006, but due to a band member illness, their tour had to be postponed. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like button and subscribe, and we'll see you again on Rock and Roll True Stories. Take care.